All right. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Nick Zorns. I'm the Assistant City Manager, and I also serve as the zoning administrator for the city of Los Altos. So today we are going to start the Wednesday, April 2nd, 2025 zoning administrator hearing. So the first item is, are there any comments for items not on the agenda? Usually there's not. I just have to ask. Okay, and so from there, we're gonna move on to the consent calendar, which is item number one, which is the zoning administrator minutes from actually February 19th. So those were drafted by staff in-house, and I've already reviewed them, so I don't have any comments or modifications. So those are gonna be approved as presented. So we're gonna jump right into item number two, which is the first public hearing item, which is for a design review at 1815 Granger Avenue. And Jalu is not here today, but the Deputy Director, Stephanie Williams, will take the item for her.
Okay, thank you. So the project site is located at 1815 Granger Avenue on the east side of Granger between Eva Avenue and Sandalwood Lane. And it's currently developed with a one-story home. The project includes the remodel of the first floor and an 861 square foot new second story. There are currently 10 trees on the property, 5 of which are protected trees. One of these protected trees is proposed to be removed due to its poor condition, and one replacement tree, evergreen screening bushes, and a variety of ground cover and shrubs are proposed to be integrated with the site's existing vegetation that will remain. Staff has found the project complies with R110 district development standards and single-family residential design guidelines, and recommends the zoning administrator approve the project subject to the listed findings and conditions of approval.
Thank you. So with that, I do not have additional questions for staff beyond what was prepared and provided in the staff report. So is the applicant or owners here and would like to add something for the 1815 property? You're the owner?
No, the designer.
The designer. Do you have anything that you want to add to what staff just covered? No? Okay. And then are there any public comments specific to this project? No? Okay. So with that, these items, just so you know, will move quickly unless there's public comment. So with that, the project at 1815 Granger for the design review application is going to be approved with the provided conditions of approval. And the project is found to be in compliance with all of the applicable standards. So with that, this project is approved, and then the staff planner will provide the property owner or designer with an approval letter so you can move forward into building plan check. Okay. All right. So with that, we're going to move on to item number 3 on the agenda, which is for property at 1697 Orr Court for a design review application. And this is you, Brittany? Okay.
Yeah, so this project site is an 11,822 square foot lot located within the cul-de-sac of Orr Court. The project involves demolition of the existing home and construction of a new 3,701 square foot 2-story home with an attached garage. The project will require removal of one non-protected citrus tree, and all other trees will remain on site. The landscape plan includes 2 new trees and a variety of new shrubs, vines, and ornamental plants. The new house is designed in a neo-eclectic style and is found to be consistent with the single-family residential design guidelines and the Los Altos Municipal Code. All of the required noticing has been completed, and staff has not been contacted by neighbors. So in conclusion, the staff recommends that the zoning administrator approve the design review application based on the findings and conditions in the staff report.
Thank you, Brittany. So following the same order of operation for this design review application, I do not have additional questions of staff for this specific item, but is there a project applicant or owner that would like to add anything to staff's comments?
Steve Collin, and I have nothing to,
Okay,
here to answer any questions.
thanks, Steve. No questions. That being said, are there any public comments for the property on Orr. Yes, sir?
I live directly across the court from the applicant. And I'm pleased to see the plans, the details that have been provided. I think it will harmonize very well with the buildings that are in the vicinity. We know the applicants and we're happy that they're able to move forward with this project.
Well, I'm glad you guys like each other because it's a small cul-de-sac.
He said it's a small cul-de-sac.
You better like each other. All right.
We're acquainted with all the residents, and I have some written information from another resident who was in favor of the project. In its former design phase, there was a major change, which is fine.
Thank you. So with that being said, are there any other public comments for the property on Orr? Okay. So with that being said, I do not have additional questions or comments, and there's been no public testimony that objects or provides additional information to consider as a part of the design review application for today. So the project at 1697 Orr Court is approved as presented today. Staff will prepare an approval letter for you so that you can have that for your own documentation, but you can move Steve into building plan check whenever you are ready. Okay,
We're almost ready.
good news. It's a code cycle here, right? All right, so with that being said, we're going to move on to item number 4, which again is planner Whitehill. And this is for a project that is at 273 Del Monte Avenue for a design review application as well. Brittany?
Yeah, so this site is an 8,000 square foot lot located on the northeast corner of Del Monte Avenue and Carmel Avenue. The project involves demolition of the existing home and construction of a new 2,799 square foot home with an attached garage. And I want to point out that the plans show a detached ADU. However, this ADU is not part of the design review application and will be reviewed with the building permit at a later stage. The project site has 5 protected trees, which will be retained with the project. The house is designed in a neo-eclectic style and is found to be consistent with the single-family design guidelines in Los Altos Municipal Code. All required noticing for the project has been completed, and staff hasn't received any formal comments. So in conclusion, staff recommends that the zoning administrator approve the design review application subject to the findings and conditions in the staff report.
So with that, again, I do not have additional questions. And Steve, I know that this is your project as well. So I'm gonna skip over you because I don't think you have anything to say. You're here enough. With that being said, are there any public comments for this project? This is for the house that's on 273 Del Monte. No? So with that being said, I'm gonna kind of give a little bit of a comment to this in regards to the project is approved as provided. However, I'm gonna acknowledge is that this project is protected under the HAA, which is the Housing Accountability Act. The city of Los Altos and my discretionary authority as the zoning administrator is barred from denying a project that includes 2 units or more. Because it is protected under the HAA. So this is considered a housing development. It does have an ADU that is provided as a part of the project. And as such, it is approved pursuant to the included conditions of approval. So with that, Steve, we will provide you an approval letter and you will be able to move forward with this one as well. All right, thank you. Right, so with that, we're gonna move on to the design review application at 1047 Eastwood Drive. And this is also Ms. Whitehill.
Okay, so this project site is an 18,430 square foot lot located on the west side of Eastwood Drive between Miramonte Avenue and Covington Road. The project involves demolition of the existing home and construction of a new 4,037 square foot home with an attached garage and basement. The plans similarly show an attached ADU, however, this will be reviewed with the building permit. The project will remove one non-protected tree and all other existing trees will remain. The landscape plan includes 5 new 24-inch box trees and a variety of shrubs, vines, and other plants. The house is designed in a contemporary style and is found to be consistent with the single-family design guidelines and Los Altos Municipal Code. All required noticing for the project has been completed. And the applicant has contacted adjacent neighbors. And I have had a few conversations with some of the adjacent neighbors about some details of the project, but we have not received any formal comments at this time. In conclusion, staff recommends that the zoning administrator approve the design review application based on the findings and conditions in the staff report.
Thank you. So with that, I do not have additional questions of staff. But does the project applicant or property owner have additional comments they'd like to provide as a part of this application?
Yeah, I'm Ray Zhang. I'm the architect for project, and the owner unfortunately is not able to make it because it's a administrative issue country. So if anybody have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer. And also, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce the owner's brother. He's happening here. His name is Chris. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any public comments specific to this project?
We sent a note, an email about the shrubbery, just asking that the height be maintained at 10 feet. Our biggest concern, the plan is lovely and we're looking forward to it, but our biggest concern is our garden and also the solar that we have and wanting to protect the daylight and sunlight that we currently receive, which is how we designed our property around.
Okay, but the shrubs are already existing and they're proposed and you're not
They're
wanting them to go
proposed in
above?
plants, yeah.
Okay,
Right now, the current level of the shrubbery over there is at around 12 feet. And if it gets any higher than that, it's gonna start blocking sunlight significantly.
okay. And then I saw the architect shaking his head. Is that something that's acceptable for the project and the owners?
I think I already replied the email. Personally, I totally agree with them. I don't have any problem to pass the information to owner to make sure to trim that. However, I'm not the owners. I'm not able to speak for them. Personally, I totally agree, and I believe they will agree. But maybe Chris can say something better than what I can say. Another option, of course, I can pass the information to landscape architect. She's really talented, very outstanding designer. I believe she might have some different or better ideas.
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
And if I can just add, I had sort of been in communication with the architect and I was thinking potentially in the building permit stage, if the owner was amenable, they could just along that property line, swap the cherry laurel for one of the shrubs that does not get as tall. But I was unable to confirm with the owner that they'd be open to that.
Okay.
Chris, would you like to say something?
Yes, personally, I wasn't aware of this issue, but we'll do whatever we can to make sure that doesn't interfere with the solar and how it's currently in operation. So, yeah.
Personally, I believe they will do a very good job to maintain everything. But right now, the site is kind of abandoned because nobody's living there. But once they have a new house, people living there, I'm pretty sure they can hire the gardener to do like a once a week or so. I believe so, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so typically I don't weigh in on something so specific. However, you are proposing cherry laurels at the property line, which are known to get to like 30 feet in height. So I am gonna ask staff to condition the project to change it to something no greater than 12 feet in height at the property line. Because that would impact someone's solar conveyance on their property. So that's something that can be remedied as a condition of approval. I'm not gonna pick which item it is, but no more than 12 feet should be acceptable for privacy concerns for both neighbors. But fundamentally allowing for PV solar generation to not be obstructed, okay?
Sure.
So Brittany will include that as a condition of approval, and then I know who you are, but can you say your guys' names for the record, please?
Kathy and Lee Lara, and we reside at 1043 Eastwood Drive.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
So with that, I am going to approve the project at 1047 Eastwood Drive, subject to the additional conditions of approval that was notated today during the public hearing. So with that, Brittany will prepare her third approval letter and provide that to you so that you can move forward into building plan check, but we will verify that the plant materials along the property line have been modified, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. So that we're going to move on to the last public hearing item, which is item number 6, which is a property at 1932 Alford Avenue. And this is also Ms. Whitehill.
Okay, so this project site is a 10,000 square foot lot on the west side of Alford Avenue between Holt Avenue and Churton Avenue. The project includes a partial demolition and addition to a single-story home, plus a second-story addition resulting in a 2-story home. Let's see, no tree removal or substantial modification to the existing landscaping is proposed with the project. The house will retain its existing neo-eclectic architectural style, and the new addition has been designed in compliance with the single-family residential design guidelines and the Los Altos Municipal Code. All required noticing for the project has been completed, and the applicant has contacted adjacent neighbors. No formal public comment has been received. In conclusion, staff recommends that the zoning administrator approve the design review application based on the findings and conditions found in the staff report.
Thank you, Brittany. So with that, I'm going to ask are there any additional comments from the project applicant? Walter.
I'm Walter Chapman. There's no additional comments. I just want to mention I'm here to answer questions as well as the property owners and architect in attendance as well.
Thank you, Walter. So with that, I'm going to ask if there are any public comments for this property.
I'll go first. I'm Anurag Valera. I live on the house right behind this property on Annette Lane, 1927. And now we are very supportive of the second floor that's being put by Bruce, the property that in discussion. We have a backyard in our master bedroom as well as living room. And our master bedroom is about 10.5 feet tall because we just recently expanded it. With the second floor height, looking backward into the backyard, which is currently as designed 16 or so feet high, there will be direct line of sight into our master bedroom as well as living room. We would love to make sure that there is some privacy shrubs or some tree line that protects our privacy in the backyard, particularly the master bedroom and the living room. And I think whatever solution is put in place, shrubs or tree lines, we want to make sure those are tall enough and those are dense enough to provide this privacy concerns that we have. We look forward to working with Bruce on what that solution might be and how to make sure it's implemented to meet the privacy needs. We suspect it could be at least as tall as 12 to 13 feet, but that remains to be precisely determined since our bedroom window is 11 feet and their second floor bedroom window would be 16 feet. So there's some math to be done to figure out what's the appropriate height for the privacy of the trees or shrubs, whatever is proposed as a solution.
Okay. Are there additional public comments for this project?
Yes, my name is Ted Park, and I am the son and primary caregiver for the owner of 1935 Annette Lane. And we have similar concerns, and we have spoken with Bruce about them. But we're concerned about a line of sight that will be between his primary bathroom on the second floor and the primary bedroom of our house. So we would just like to have assurances that there will be enough whatever obstruction, whatever kind shrubs or plants high enough and thick enough to afford privacy on both sides.
Okay. Are there additional public comments?
I'm Carol Pugh. I live directly across the street at 1937 Alford. And I just want to say that their design looks great, and I really appreciate that they've intentionally worked to keep the gorgeous historic trees that are in the front there.
Thank you. Anyone else? Or Walter?
Just wanted to, quick response, the owners have already put in some planting along the fence lines because they wanted to make sure it had an opportunity to grow before the completion of construction. So, the type of planting, it has already been installed. For the rear, the area in the left corner is a little trickier because there's existing trees there. And sometimes when trying to fill in planting under existing trees, because of their root system and because of their canopy and foliage, it's a little more challenging to do infill planting. So at the time of rough construction, when you can actually see, everyone can see each other's windows and locations, that would be an appropriate time for both the owners and the neighbors to consult again to see what has worked and what hasn't worked, because until that time, like I say, the existing shrubbery and trees in that corner, we've had problems before trying to do infill planting, and because of roots and foliage and lack of sun. But all attempts will be made, obviously, to work with the neighbors on that concern.
Thank you, Walter. So I'm gonna give a little bit of a background and understanding because it's gonna feel a little bit different than what I just did for the prior application. This application does not have a comprehensive landscape schedule for what's in the rear, as it's not required to. The other project did provide one upfront as a part of their overall project. With that being said, is that I provided a condition of approval that ensured the essentially adherence to someone else's existing improvements. However, the privacy screening that was included in their application was on their property for their benefit. So a new improvement. I do not, as it's not allowed by our code, protect private views into private property. I would assume that a multi-million-dollar investment into a brand new home would be accompanied with blinds and drapes and screening. That's the prerogative of the owners, as well as additional landscaping that they can install once construction has concluded. What I would say is that it sounds like there's amicable reasoning between the property owners. None of you have been adamant or really objectionary to the point of not wanting the project. So like what I have said before in this chamber to other residents, and it's the truth, it's the golden rule, you get more bees with honey than vinegar. I would not give your neighbors any vinegar until they get their project done and maybe install some trees to give you guys the privacy, because I think this all sounds very, very amicable. I can condition projects to protect essentially existing improvements from new improvements. However, I do not condition projects to require additional improvements that are not a part of the scope that's being proposed. So with that, I think amicably, the neighbors can work together to have that. Everyone wants privacy. No one wants to be looked at when they're walking around in their bedroom doing their own business, essentially. So I think you guys can all come to that reasoning as neighbors and be neighborly. So I'm not gonna provide an additional condition of approval. However, I think Walter is very well known in town and works on a lot of projects. He will work with his clients and work with you guys to be able to provide a reasonable middle ground for whatever provides as much privacy, and hopefully those trees or bushes that were already planted will provide some substantive privacy for you all moving forward. So with that being said, is the project as presented today is going to be approved, which is for the design review application at 1935 Alfred Avenue. No additional conditions of approval other than what was presented in the packet will be included. And with that, Walter, we will provide you with an approval letter, which will allow you to move into building plan check whenever you're ready. Okay. And so with that, that is the 6 items for today's zoning administrator hearing, which concludes today's items. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.